Welcome back, everybody, to another If That Guy Don't Go to PC, Them Inmates Gonna Turn Him Inside Out episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're traveling down to Honky Tonk, Tennessee, land of the Chattanooga train smoke, not to mention the beautiful state that I chose to reside in. But in all seriousness, I'm going to be speaking about a streamer who's become very popular in the last few months for all the wrong reasons. And I wasn't going to tap into this side of the field, but he happened to have caught himself some charges right in front of the courthouse yesterday. We're going to be speaking about ChudTheBuilder, I believe is his name. What this guy's been doing is absolutely unbelievable. And look, I'm going to break down exactly what could be coming this guy's way if he steps foot in a Tennessee penitentiary. That's the last thing he wants to do. So, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel and enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is absolutely where you need to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And check out my beautifully assorted playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and read from this article coming from the New York Post, and then of course I'll drop my valuable 2 cents. But it says, racist streamer ChudTheBuilder has been charged with attempted murder for allegedly shooting someone who confronted him outside a Tennessee courthouse. The streamer, real name Dalton Etherly, 28, shot an unidentified man during a fight Wednesday outside the courthouse in Clarksville. Clarksville, about 2 hours from me. Maybe I'll drive down there, man, cruise around in the Scatty. But according to the district attorney Robert J. Nash, who said Chud also accidentally shot himself during the incident. Yeah, you know, things can get very panicky in those type of situations. But Etherly, who amassed an online following by filming himself spewing vile racial slurs to get reactions, was in court for a civil case over unpaid debts, just days after he was arrested for skipping out on a $400 restaurant bill by refusing to stop streaming. He live streamed from the shooting scene, blaming his gunfire on the other man, who was black according to witnesses, confronting him over his vile online content. He said that the man and others were laughing at him as he walked by, and threatened to hit him if he started spouting his racist ideologies. He said, "You start saying all that chimp out stuff about me, and I'ma hit you." And he hit me. He started wailing on me. Etherly, who has multiple videos online referring to black people as chimps. And look, this guy's doing all this stuff while armed. You can actually see the gun in his pocket in many videos. And the people that he's saying these racial slurs to, you know, see it. And it keeps them from doing anything too crazy. But like I expected, eventually, someone's not going to give two shits and fire off on this guy, just like what happened at the courthouse the other day. Then Etherly bizarrely tried to pin blame on rich people, goading strangers into harming him. They're all publicly saying, if y'all assault this guy, we'll make you rich. The victim was medically evacuated by Life Flight and is recovering in stable conditions, officials said. Etherly also suffered what's been described as a graze wound on his arm. And Nash said it appears he's accidentally shot himself during the fracas. I don't know why they use that word, but he was detained at the scene. He's additionally being charged with aggravated assault, reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, and employing a firearm during a dangerous felony. He's being held at the Montgomery County Jail until bond will be set at an arraignment hearing, according to the county sheriff's office. In his live stream, he insisted he shot in self-defense. Montgomery County Sheriff said that this kind of violence won't be tolerated, and our office will work to make sure those responsible are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. The mustached antagonist was supposed to appear at court on Wednesday afternoon, where he was being sued by a debt and credit collector, according to court documents obtained by Clarksville Now. Just last Friday, the self-described free speech patriot was arrested for allegedly harassing strangers at an upscale steakhouse in Nashville. He reportedly began shouting racial slurs at the restaurant before announcing he would not pay his $400 bill even after polishing off the entire meal. Golly, I love how they said polished off. Cleaned that jank before he walked out. But where to begin with this individual here? Let me just say something about the whole freedom of speech thing. Yeah, you could think that we got it, but I've seen personally friends of mine go to prison for things that they said to a manager at a superstore. You know, I'm not going to break down exactly what they said, but it was treacherous. At the same time, though, it was just, you know, him speaking. He didn't do anything, you know, he was in a rage. So is freedom of speech really there? To me, it's really not. If I can't just say any old thing I want without any kind of repercussions and consequences in the courtroom in any way, shape, or form, then there ain't no damn freedom of speech nowhere to be seen. I mean, you can go to Virginia Beach right now, probably walk the boardwalk and and say that you could get fined or go to jail for cursing. I don't know, they might have taken those signs down since I've been there. It's been a couple years, but yeah, you know, I've always felt as though that whole thing is just bullcrap. You can't say anything you want. You can, but you could go to prison too. I'll let you weigh out the options on saying whatever the hell you want to say these days. But for me, when it comes to like violence or racial slurs, anything that would, you know, contribute to someone else being violent in the act of me saying it, I'm not going to say it. You know why? Because chances are, you know, if someone gets killed, shot, stabbed, do you not think the rageful, despicable words that just came out of my mouth isn't going to play a factor with the jury or the judge as to why everything escalated? Yes, it definitely does. You know, a lot of times I've seen people get convicted because they could have walked away. Like me in my situation, that's what the judge said. You could have walked away, went in the house, and called the cops. But no, I chose to come back, stick around, and defend myself. You know, every situation takes place a little bit differently, but I know one thing for sure. Tennessee is not going to stand for anybody getting shot in front of their damn courthouse. No, sir, man. Someone's going straight to Smokeville. And that's going to roll me right into what I really want to speak about. If old Chud the Builder goes to the Tennessee State Penitentiary, my goodness. Even if he goes to a PC block where he's nice, guarded, and safe in a cell all by himself, which I highly doubt would happen to him, especially in Tennessee, right? I think they would put him in some kind of, I wouldn't say minimum security prison because he's in there with some violent crimes. If convicted for these charges, man, he's going to a big boy pad. And if he's even close to a GP block, like I said in the beginning, chances are, hypothetically speaking, them inmates going to turn him into a sock puppet. And then when they're done with that, they'll turn him into a pincushion. Look, man, I've been to prison 2 times in the great state of Virginia. And, you know, racism's always there a little bit on the streets, you know. You don't really see it too much. You know, a lot of people like to keep it hidden. But in prison, at least the ones that I've seen, you know, the racism and the separation of cultures, I guess you could say, is elevated. And look, I've never done time in a Tennessee prison, but if I were to guess, you know, a little more down south, just by living out here, I can tell the racism is definitely going to be elevated to a higher level than what I've seen in the Virginia prison system, if I were to bet. And another thing I'd bet it all on, like I already said, if he goes anywhere near a GP block, them dudes gonna make him eat every last racial slur he ever said. Oh my goodness, that mustache be doing all kinds of tambourine tricks. They're gonna start calling him Chudalina, man. Look, I'm just being honest. Jail or prison, it doesn't matter. If he gets some time, sooner or later, if I were to guess, I'll be covering an inmate on inmate homicide story on this guy. But like I was saying, even if he does go to a PC block, you don't think them guards are going to be doing a little something extra to his trays? Or the inmates that prepare him? Come on, man, this guy's going to be hotter than Hot Topic in prison. Everybody's going to want to get their hands on this guy. I don't know what this guy's trying to achieve, but to me, the only thing, you know, he's going to succeed here at is a prison sentence or a short ride on Earth. And it's too late for him. There ain't no going back now. No apologies or nothing like that's going to help any of his situation ever. But it says here that some reports indicate he could face up to 80 years in prison if convicted on all charges and given consecutive sentences. Other reports suggest he's facing at least 25 years. Once again, he's charged with criminal attempted murder, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. And also keep in mind all this took place in front of a courthouse. Man, oh man. Can't wait to see the legalities play out with this one, especially with it being in Tennessee. Don't quote me on this, but I do believe their self-defense rules have changed just recently. But I'm out here, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to give y'all a short little update on this individual. Like I said, it was an unexpected video. I actually had a courtroom episode come your way of a girl being sentenced for poisoning her husband. One of the most cold-blooded and diabolical cases I've seen in a very long time. And it'll be coming your way tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And the only way to do that, ladies and gentlemen, is by hitting that notification bell, setting it to all. As always, until the next time, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.